Something else I'd like to tack on to the last message, let me put a scarf on it real quick, is that what is basically happening on this planet at this time is that all of the lower vibrational, fear-based energies are being uprooted. All right? They need to go back home to source because they are not serving us and where we are headed as a galactic society anymore. We will eventually become a galactic society. But New Earth is available now. So what does this mean if we are now purging this collective dense energy? Well, the people who became that energy, meaning they don't have the capacity to sustain a higher energy, a lot of them will die. Bye, honey, right? And I don't mean that in a mean way, but it's true. Like their time is up because they're taking up space on this planet. And the planet right now doesn't need people who watch Jeopardy all day. All right, I'm just being honest. It doesn't. And I don't mean that with judgment. I'm saying that if you don't work on your consciousness, if you don't uphold that higher frequency, if you do not try to better yourself throughout your life, your energy is kind of like that game, High Striker, you know, the one where you had you had the hammer and the ledge, and your energy goes, like it doesn't go anywhere. So the universe goes, all right, those people are a little too stuck in their ways, or maybe they are a little too old now and they've got to go. All right. That's not a bad thing. Humans say it's a bad thing. It's part of life. All right. We evolve. We don't die. We're eternal. We are infinite beings. Now, what's going to happen to the people who still have a vital body? The people who still have a vital body, but who still carry that dense energy, well, a lot of that is going to be stripped away. So if your energy, if your focus has been entrenched in a lower dimensional plane of existence, you might lose your job. You might lose your boyfriend or girlfriend because too much of the disempowered energy was lended to that reality that belongs to a 3D level of consciousness. So everything we've been seeing in the world was fabricated or founded on a third dimensional level of consciousness. And our universe is saying, you guys have 12 levels of consciousness. There are 12 dimensions. And you've only been living in this tiny box. So we are upgrading you now because your life can be a lot easier. It can have joy. It can have peace. It can have harmony. But that's going to require that you relinquish your control, trying to control everything all the time, let go, allow this energy in, this higher energy in, so that it can rewire you at a cellular level. And now you're going to bring your body with you to 4D and 5D New Earth. Okay? New Earth doesn't mean that you don't drive a car. I'm in my car right now. New Earth doesn't mean that you don't have a bank account anymore. It means that you're sourcing higher energy. It has a higher level of purity. And it still becomes manifest physically. All right? There's no effort involved. You act on inspiration. You guys I've been talking to you about living as a dot for years now. Living as a dot is a fifth dimensional existence. You act on inspiration. You don't do it out of obligation. Inspiration, not obligation. Obligation only exists when there's fear involved. We've let those realities go already. That doesn't exist anymore. Okay? Some people are still playing that out. That's okay. But we're going through this transformational process as a planet. New Earth is you act on inspiration. You don't even care how much money's in your account. You don't even look half the time, or 99.9% of the time. You don't care because everything's taken care of for you. You've earned it. You've earned your entry into 5D. And you know when you have because everything gets really easy. Everything. But you still make money, but you're not focused on money. You're just focused on energy. How can I be of service right now? Should I work? Should I not work? Right? And nothing becomes work anymore. It's just your state of being is the frequency that you lend to the collective. Is the frequency that you lend to the collective. So if your light body, if your spirit, if your guides tell you you're not working today, you don't work. Because you know that if you do, you're just feeding into an old construct of reality. You're feeding back into 3D, and you've already graduated from 3D. So that's what's happening to a lot of people right now. They're being upgraded. This is a good thing. You just have to embrace it, allow the process. Allowance is huge. It's one of the biggest pieces of this. It's huge, okay? So you have to allow the energy in, this higher energy. And this higher energy is going to target all of your lower energies. Okay? Because when you shine a light on the darkness, which darkness is really just something that you've been hanging on to. It's a denser energy. It's something that has a hold over you, where you don't get to be the deliberate creator of your reality, where you don't get to be the captain of your reality ship. Some people won't want to let go of that quote unquote darkness. So they're going to fight tooth and nail to stay in that old reality. And some of them will succeed. And they're going to keep living with misery and control issues and drama and trauma. All right. So that higher energy is going to target every aspect of your being because it needs to cleanse your being. It needs to purify your being so that you can unify your being. And once you're unified, you don't play that game of separation anymore. You don't compare yourself to others. You don't go, oh, he's making more money than me. You don't do any of that. There's no separation. You are in service to something greater than you. And that thing that's greater than you knows that you will have a joy-filled life serving it because it's serving you too, you see? It's a vibrational existence of reciprocity. You line up with your mission, with your passion, and then you contribute a very fine frequency to the collective of humanity. So it's 4 a.m. I just woke up momentarily and the Arcturian said we need you to get on video and do this. I've learned to listen to that. It's a very important time on our planet. When you impulsively act on your emotions, rather than just observe your emotions from the space of neutrality. So when you impulsively act on your emotions, you are not allowing a healing to take place. You are not allowing these emotions to pass through you. Instead, you are shoving them back down. And you are keeping yourself in a loop, okay, which perpetuates your old story. The changes that are occurring on this planet are here to help you drop your stories. But this can only be achieved if you start to remember that you are a master. Every single master that ever walked this planet became a master because they understood the value of sliding, if you will, into the space of neutrality rather than being tossed around by their emotions like a salad, or rather than being swung around like a pendulum by their emotions. Okay? It's only when you're able to enter the 0 point field, the space of neutrality, that you can start to take your power back from everything you gave your power to. So anytime you had those knee-jerk reactions and you got reactionary, that was indicative of the fact that you already were compromised because you gave too much importance to something that was outside of you. That emotion is returning to you so that you can take your power back from this external reality or from your external illusion and fold that energy back into you. That's when you become a master. So you start to gain access to the control panel of your reality, okay? Because you've taken the energetic funding away from your external illusion. You've brought it back in, you've integrated those emotions. And now you have a stronger energy to have influence over your reality. So you're calling the shots. As long as you are a quote unquote slave to your external circumstances, and you allow your external world to determine how you feel, then you will not become a creator. in order to become a creator, you must first become a master of your own mind. You have to be able to pause yourself and say, I'm feeling a certain type of way right now, but rather than acting on that, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to allow that feeling to pass through me. I'm still going to give myself permission to feel it, but I'm not going to act on it. Okay? That's when you're able to be in your embodiment. That's when you can really start to decide what you want your life to look like, because you're rearranging your thoughts. You're reorganizing your own energy. It's like feng shui. And when you have feng shui within your vibratory field, then the energy starts to flow. You're able to create a life effortlessly. Because your life isn't determined by what's outside of you. It's created from what's within you. Okay? So if you see something out there in the news or on social media that upsets you, know that you're being afforded an opportunity to step into further mastery. Because the only thing that you can control is your own response to your outer reality. But you cannot control the outer reality. You can change the contents of your inner reality. And that will transmit a signal outwardly and begin to change this world. But this is an inside job. Peace is an inside job. And your guides and your higher self and your inner master are calling you now. They're saying your time has come. You are here to become a creator of your own reality, despite what's going on around you. What's going on around you is training you to become that master. Much love. Now that we just had a fight, let's make up and have fun. All right, no, but seriously. Love is the one thing that always pulls people back together, including countries that are at war. Why are they still at war? Because there's a component that they can't see yet, because they're too caught up in their stories. See, we do this thing as humans where we go, everyone should be vegan. That creates separation. That doesn't heal the planet. You, whether you're vegan or a stripper or a belly dancer, whatever you are, we are all part of the same one. So if you go home and the rest of your brothers and sisters don't go home, guess who's going to come back to help them come home? You! So my point is, love is the connective force. This entire reality, the game that you're in, the game that you created with God, with Source, can only be beaten if you rectify or clear that energy that other people reflect in you. It's not about agreeing. It's not about disagreeing. It's not about debating. That's all rooted in separation and comparison games. That feeds the energy of separation, keeping us in separation physically. You get it? So the idea is to unify yourself from within. Okay? So if you see something you don't like, you have to clear that energy. Source has put you in charge of clearing that energy so that you can beat your own game. When you unify those aspects from within, meaning that you're unifying your own separation, then you send out a signal to the entire collective that they too can do the same. It's a raising of a collective frequency, and then people start to have brilliant ideas. Then people want to improve their lives. Then people want to make better choices. But you can't change the game if you go out in the game, because the game is really just a reflection of you. That's all it is. When you fix the game from within, when you beat your own game, meaning you don't get stuck in the TV screen, meaning you don't get stuck in your own game, that's when you can really start to broadcast a signal. I always laugh when people say, yeah, but Jesus was incarnated at a long time ago. That's why he ate fish. Jesus didn't operate within time, people. Jesus was a fully realized being. He wasn't operating within the construct of time. It doesn't mean that he was behind if he ate fish. Think about it. You can only really start to see the larger picture of how this entire thing was created if you merge with your higher self, with God, with source, whatever you want to call it. That's when you will understand how realities were created. And if you try to split off and say, I don't have a part in it, you're fooling yourself, because you are part of the whole. You are not separate from the whole. The only thing that perpetuates your own suffering is thinking that you are separate from the whole, which means that there's an energy within you that's discordant, that's disjointed. And God's source is saying, hey, we keep trying to point you inwardly and you keep trying to go outwardly. You can't fix that from without. You have to fix it from within. And as you do that, you're going to emit a realized frequency. It's a frequency that's had a realization. Woo! You won't have to go try to physically change people. No, you've just deposited it into the grid. You've imbued that realization into the grid. And now it's available for other people to be able to access. It's like a big computer. And all of us are part of that computer. We're part of the one universal mind. Okay? So casting stones or thinking that your way is higher and loftier will never be the answer, because you're still playing a game of separation, which only energizes separation. This is about unity. It's about unification. It's about reunification. Why? Because we are remembering that there's no judgment. We are remembering that this planet is on a timeline in linear time and that things cannot happen overnight. They take time. It's a strung out process. Okay? I love you guys. And remember, it's about love. It's about looking at your own shadow, the very shadow that drives you to judge people. Looking at your own shadow, because there's an energy, a higher self, a God or source that's saying, if you merge with your own shadow, you will merge back with me, because God is light and dark. And you designed this entire game to be able to spiral your way back and become unified. And guess what's going to happen when you become unified? You're not going to give up on your people, because they are also an aspect of you. So befriend your demons. Stop reacting, stop debating, stop agreeing, stop disagreeing. Befriend your own demon, and you will become the angel that God's source is trying to remind you that you are. And that's it. I want to give you a message from the guides, from the beings that can link with you and have linked with you your entire life telepathically, preparing you for contact. They told me that the reason why they had to remove people, even though I love these people dearly and they're not going anywhere, they did that because when you have a lot of distractions in your life, they equate that to distortions, because you're allowing into your field things that are clouding you. So these things are impairing, or I want to say they're obstructing your connection to source, to them. And there are many that are a part of source. So they told me that they had to kind of strip away everything. Now, keep in mind, even though I was spiritual, even though I was a mystic, even though I was working with magic and alchemy, in my physical life, I still had things that were preventing me or disabling me from fully connecting with them, linking up to the cloud. It's a cloud. You link up to it. It's almost like you see this like branch or like this tether going into a cloud, and other people are connected to that cloud, or you can say that the cloud are those beings. All right. And you can access anything you want, and they will help you merge. They will help you merge, because that link is like a staircase. That link is like the upward spiral. That link is the Kundalini merging back at the top. So many of you have experienced loss, have experienced a parting of ways with friends, have experienced heartbreaks, because when it is time, it is time. When it is time, it is time. We don't always realize how preoccupied we are in our external world. We think to ourselves, well, it's not really getting in the way of where I'm headed. And from one perspective, it is not. But from another perspective, this group of non-physical beings, your family of light, have been with you all along. And they don't remove these people to punish you. They will remove distractions, jobs, anything that isn't catering to what you coded yourself to become. These codes are timed. So if you're watching this right now, and many of you are, if you have found that there's been a dramatic shift in your life, not only with the coronavirus, a dramatic shift where you are being thrust into a container and you are being, quote unquote, forced to be alone, the biggest disservice you can do is to do something like watch TV, play a game, or stare at your phone all day long. Now, if you're not ready for contact, then go ahead and do those things, because there's no rush. We're always there. The family is always there. But if you are drawn to this message, just know that they are contacting you. Know that if you close your eyes and you flip your inner camera to the inner realms and you call upon them, you will feel a sensation. You will. It'll be in your head, and you're advised to open your heart. And then I just want you to receive information. And if you're not getting something, ask a question, because they're going to help you navigate that maze. They're going to help you navigate that maze. Think of them as codes within this physical hologram, right? We're in this computer right now. These codes are like levels. So if you find that you're stuck, okay, there's a roadblock, all you have to do is ask them another question and then receive. And you'll have that moment where it clicks, like, oh my God, this world has been here all along. We don't even really need to speak. These beings are telepathic in nature. They are you. Okay? Why is this happening? They want you to know that we needed to create a back door for humanity. That would be a recognizable, undeniable, discoverable Bluetooth. When you're switched on, You're switched on. And when you're switched on, you know who isn't switched on. So you know exactly what to say to them to help them remember how to switch on. This is happening in increasing numbers. This energy is spreading. And I'm not talking about the virus. I'm talking about the thing that the virus doesn't want you to see. Are you with me? They want to keep you preoccupied with your external world so that you don't look within yourself with your third eye. Your third eye can be a mouth, it can be an eye, it can be an ear, it can be whatever you want. So let's stir up the pot and send people into a frenzy, and this way they don't link up to the cloud. I'm giving you very valuable information right now. If I wasn't a starseed, I would say I'm potentially in trouble, but I'm not. This is exactly why Merlin had to happen. Do you understand? They're not looking for the Merlins. They're not looking for the Merlins. So listen very closely. You are loved. You are being contacted. They're waving at you right now through my eyes. Can you see them? Yes. Now they're wanting you to find them from within. You don't even have to look for them. They were always there. You just need to trust, believe, and receive. You just need to trust, believe, and receive. Link up to the cloud. If you've ever believed in telepathy, I'm asking you to believe in it more than you ever have. That doesn't mean send a text to your friend and ask them if they got what you sent. I'm asking you to contact a different group of beings. If you have goosebumps right now, it's part of the process. You're being activated. Your time has come, but there's no rush, but there is a window. All right, I think that's good for now.